All right, we all know what we do at a bank. We put our money in, we have a checking account, we have a savings account. But there's a lot of other services that your bank might offer you that you might not even be aware of. So if you want to know more about that, just stay tuned. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Scan FYI. My guest today is Mike Powers. He is the president and CEO, get that right, of Garden Savings Federal Credit Union, and they are also one of our most valuable Scan sponsors. So, Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Andrea.
Thanks for being with us today. It's always a pleasure to talk to you because, I feel like I'm going right to the source, right to the source. So I think when most people think about their bank, whatever bank they're using, most people I think do just the most basic services there, but clearly there's other things that can happen at the bank. And you have something that for me I was not familiar with at Garden Savings, which are certified financial counselors. And I
Yes.
think for so many people who are maybe experiencing, financial disruption, this might be something that they would want to take advantage of.
Yeah, we just were talking about that before. And the certified financial counselors, we have at least one in each branch of the credit union. Sometimes when there's people that leave or get moved around, we have to move somebody over. But we have about 6 or 7 certified financial counselors at the credit union. What they're able to do is help people. They're just basically consultants, right?
Okay.
Um, they're not hard sellers. They're not trying to force products on you or anything else. But what they can do is work with each of our members on specific questions that they may have, whether it's building out a budget for people, like figuring out exactly how much money should go to savings versus be liquid in a checking account, how much should be tied up in CDs versus if you want to get aggressive and put your money somewhere else in a stock market thing where principal may be at risk. They can kind of talk you through that stuff and work with you. They also have ways if people have troubled credit, they can work with people to boost their credit score through a variety of options and best strategies for doing that. They're basically strategic consultants for our members, and you can do it. You can usually walk in and do it, but we always recommend that you book an appointment. There are ways to book an appointment right at our website at gardensavings.org.
Yeah.
Set that up at the branch you want to
These
set.
are these are free and confidential
Absolutely.
services.
Absolutely. They are totally free services. They are confidential, no cost whatsoever. Um, and we put them through a program, each of these counselors, that is organized by the Cross State Credit Union Association, which is the association that governs all New Jersey and Pennsylvania credit unions. They're a trade group, but they have a lot of services available to us. And I actually sit on the board for the Cross State Credit Union Foundation, which is the not-for-profit arm of the association. And the foundation has this specific program that they put people through, and it's not an easy course. They go through it for about 4 months. There's tests they have to take to be certified on all the different areas they can help. I'd be lying if I said I went through the program myself and know every bit of it, but I have seen the results of it, and the members that we have that use that program are very satisfied.
So you should feel confident going to someone who is a certified financial counselor. It's not just someone that they
Right.
said you do it today. It's someone who really has credentials.
Yeah, they do. And we
Yeah.
look for volunteers to do it. We don't want to force people
Yeah.
through the program because if their heart's not into doing that end, then why have them do it? So the people that have been put through the certified financial counselor program, they call it the FICEP program. Those that get that accreditation from that program are people that want it too, right? So they're eager to help, and we're happy that they do that because the credit union way is to help our people and to do so at no cost and in a low pressure sales environment. We don't, we all know the banks out there, a few of them anyway, that had some issues. I won't name them
Not
by
mentioning names.
not mentioning names, but there were a few that made the news for perhaps having too much of a sales culture, and we don't operate that way.
Right.
Will someone mention a product to you if it might help your situation? Yes, but it's not a hard sell.
So, what are some reasons that it would be in my best interest to meet with a financial counselor?
It's really just if you have questions, right? I mean, your best interest would be could be very different than someone else's. Maybe yours is I've got a lot of money tied up in CDs, and a lot of it's maturing. What's my best bet? You can get that from a branch manager too. They'll give you honest advice as well. But what's my best strategy here? Should I put more in stock? And a lot of that will come down to your own risk appetite, or should I continue to put it in CDs? And you and I on our last Zoom here, we talked about laddering CDs. Maybe
Right.
that's a strategy they can talk to you about. Conversely, they could tell you, maybe if you know you're going to need cash and you don't want to break CDs like in 6 months or something, they could talk to you about, hey, take out a home equity loan. If you'd like a home equity loan, take out a home equity loan. You don't have to advance it, right? And it's there. It's like your security blanket if you need the money before your CDs mature and you don't want to pay a penalty. There's lots of different things, and it could just be a budgeting thing. You might say, hey,
Right.
let's take an example of a retiree. If a retiree had X amount of money coming in from a pension and that pension was no more and there's less money coming in, okay, I've got less money coming into my accounts now and I need more for my bills. How can I work this? And they'll work you through a budget that would work for you.
I think that's a great service because again, working with seniors, and it's our observation that for many seniors, they're not aware of the services that are offered to them at no charge, mind you.
Yep.
And we're all about, letting people know what your resources out there. And I think budgeting for a lot of people is just very hit or miss, especially if, maybe you're living on Social Security or a small pension. So this seems like a good opportunity to speak to someone to get a little extra help.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's for people of all ages, for the
Yes, of course.
there could be something that you think could be valuable for your kids or grandkids. And, anybody who's a member of the credit union is welcome to set up these appointments, or even if really you're not a member of the credit union, but you're interested in becoming one, we'll work with you. We don't say no to anybody, and hopefully that conversation will spur you on to become a member of our credit union. So, that's how it works in our industry in general, is that as a not-for-profit financial cooperative, we're there to help our members. One area I should mention is with the government shutdown that's going on now, which is all over the
Oh,
news.
that.
Yeah, we have that silly thing. Yeah, we have a not a lot of people because our core base is not government employees, but we have a couple dozen probably government employees in our member base, and those are some people that have been calling us for, hey, what should I do here because I don't have a
Right.
paycheck.
Right.
But it's temporary. So maybe we're able to work with you on a temporary basis until it's back up or whatever the case may be. But we're getting questions like that now too.
See, that's again another thing I wouldn't have necessarily thought about that, and I bet a lot of our listeners didn't either. That in these, it's a volatile time right now in the economy, right? And if you temporarily or permanently lose your job, maybe you do need some financial counseling. So this is another opportunity. You have to
Yep,
figure out what to do with your money or what not to do with your money.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It all requires a lot of thought, and a lot of it is personal preference, but some of it is going to be a pretty universal sound financial advice, right? Some of it is opinion based and risk appetite based for the consumer. And some of it is, hey, it's pretty much a universal thought that this is or is not a good idea for you, and we can steer you that way.
But everyone's needs are different, and I always like to say never compare yourself or your needs to somebody else's because no two of us are the same financially and what we want and what we need. So
100%. Yep.
I think it's always good to consult with, an independent party who doesn't have anything at stake.
Right.
You're
Right.
you're totally non-biased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're again, as a credit union, not-for-profit financial cooperatives, we're here to help, right? Our mission in the industry's tagline is people helping people, and that's what we're trying to do.
So I'll remind everyone that was it last summer? Now it feels like a long time ago already, but it's not that long. Garden Savings Federal Credit Union opened up in Brick in Ocean County. So
Yeah,
that's a great thing for us Ocean County dwellers and Monmouth County too. Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
We inherited two branches in a merger from a credit union that was there for a long time, Pinnacle Federal Credit Union. And they used to be in Leisure Village West in Manchester Township, but they moved the branch out to Brick. And so we inherited the Brick branch, which is at 990 Cedar Bridge Ave in Brick. We just had a big grand opening there, and it was very well received. We had some
Good.
chamber people and council people and things like that at the opening. And it's just exciting to be down there. Garden Savings went from four branches, mostly concentrated up here in North Jersey, to adding two branches that are further south with the Brick branch. And then the other one was in Sayreville, which is also Middlesex County, but it's over the Driscoll. So it's on that side of the Driscoll Bridge.
That's
And
right. That's right. Well, I
so
think that it's fair to say the population in Ocean County is really exploding.
yeah,
So I'm glad to have you here, not too
yeah.
far from me.
Yeah, and we ran a special this week too, a 4.44% 4-month CD. And even though the branch grand opening's over, we're honoring anybody who's interested in that through the end of this week. It's short term because, you and I chatted a little bit about rates and where they're heading. So shorter term is where you can get the rates still. And that 4.44 for 4 months is the biggie right now. We've got 4% for 6 months too, I think. Yep.
Well, it's the big unknown. And of course, we have to mention something about interest rates because, I'm a saver. I've been a saver. And so for a long time, it felt really good to get nice rates.
Yeah.
Now, not so good.
Yeah, well, they're starting to come down, no doubt about it, as you know, I remember when my grandfather was still around, I used to talk to him about this in my early years in the credit unions. And, he used to always say, I don't understand why the rates are coming down so much. I've been a customer for so long, and I totally understood that. But as I started to grow in the industry and understand the math of it all, as the Fed lowers rates, we can't invest in things as much. And so if we're getting lower rates, to keep the doors open, to keep the lights on, our rates have to come down that we're offering to consumers. And so as the Fed cuts rates, now it was only a 25 basis point cut this time, but deposit rates start to come down accordingly. And things are based on anticipation, and they are saying at least one more cut this year, possibly two, although I'm personally
This year?
this year. They're going to come down probably at least once more this year.
Wow.
So people are saying two. 25 points each time, 1/4%. Um, I'm speculative on the second one because unemployment figures aren't going the direction they want to in order to be able to do two, and the GDP and stuff aren't where they want it. So I think it's going to be one more cut this year myself. That's just my gut feeling. No professional advice there, just my gut feeling.
The
So
crystal ball, the crystal ball.
yeah, the crystal ball was always fun in budget season too, let me tell you. But yeah, so I think there'll be one more cut this year, but there could be two, and they're anticipating more cuts next year. So rates are definitely on the downward slope, which, as you noted, is not as good for the saver and the investor. But it's great for the borrower because loan
Right.
rates are coming down too. Our auto loan rates are coming down, our mortgage rates are down, our 30-year, I think, is at 6% right now. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's down to 6% for a 30-year first mortgage, which is the lowest it's been in quite a while, a few years probably. So,
Yeah.
so things are coming down. So if, again, like we were talking about, it's all the person, right? And your own personal needs. So we've had a great savers market for 3 years or so now, and now it's going to start to slowly turn the ship toward a borrower's market again. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to become more of a borrower's market. And that's where you get into kind of what we talked about with the financial counselors is, all right, how much risk am I willing to take, right? Should I put, we're, to be clear, we're not certified financial planners. There is a difference.
Yes. Yes.
Financial planners
Yes.
are different. They're great for advice too. They're usually going to put you in some products or whatever that are different from a credit union, because those products, I won't say 99% of the time, I'll probably say about 75% of the time, have risk tied to them. Your principal could be at risk. The credit union does not offer any products where your principal is at risk. So it all depends on your appetite. If you're fine with putting your money out at a 3.90% APY for a year, knowing your principal is never at risk, well, then that might be what's good for you. However, if you're saying, well, I could still probably get 6, 7% if I put it in some stock market products, maybe even higher, you're probably right, but you're taking the risk that if the
Yeah.
stock market were to crash, or even just have a downward turn, that your principal could be at risk. So it's all everyone's individual risk appetite, really.
Yeah, things are always certainly always interesting in the financial world with with the ups and downs.
They're tough to keep up with.
It is because I do feel like week by week there's multiple changes, but something that I never understood, you clarified it, and I don't know if other people realize. So why are you getting a higher rate for a shorter period of time versus having at somebody's money for, let's say, a full year?
Yeah.
So explain. I mean, explain the reason for that.
Well, let's take it like this. If let's take that 4.44% for 4 months,
For
right?
4 months, yeah.
We know that that product is probably going to be a loss leader for us for 4 months because rates are coming down. Put that same rate out for a year or worse, 2 years or 3 years, when all the projections are saying that rates are going to be coming down, then we're going to be holding on to money that we're paying out 4.44% on when we're only able to invest at maybe 3.5, 3.25, who knows? But we have to obviously play with margins to keep the lights on here and make our money. Again, as a credit union, we don't strive to make $10 million a year. Our board is all volunteer board of directors. We don't pay out big board of director bonuses or anything like that. It's all volunteers. So our job is to make enough money every year. We want to make profits so that we're building our capital so that we're around in perpetuity. And the
Yeah,
credit,
or at least next year.
yeah, every hopefully it'll be a lot longer than that. But yeah, we want to always make money so that we're building the strength of the credit union. And so we have to juggle with that because when we wind up in a situation where we're paying out more than what we're able to earn, we have to make that back in other ways, and that's not always easy to do. And sometimes that causes angst in other ways because if you
Yeah.
see you're not managing your balance sheet right, you may have to increase your fees or things like that to make up that difference. And we don't like to do that. We haven't increased our fees, and geez, it's got to be 4 or 5 years. Our fees have been flat. So because we're managing the money okay. And so that's what we have to do is manage that margin. And so as everybody projects the rates are coming down, we do have to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a deficit situation where we're paying out significantly more than we can earn. We can do that in short periods, 4 months, 6 months,
Right.
even a year, we can take that. And that's why you're seeing rates there. But when they're projecting another rate cut or two this year, and some are saying 3 to 5 more cuts next year, we have to plan accordingly so that we're still managing that margin properly.
It's the great unknown. You can probably project fairly accurately for 4 months,
Yeah.
but I understand that beyond that, it's anybody's guess. So,
Yeah.
um,
And
but
so
it's a
it's a
great
challenge.
rate for 4 months.
Yeah, it's a great rate. And so if you want to buy some time, 4 months, I mean, I always cite my dad on this. He's 80 and I talk about my dad a lot because him and I talk about the finances a lot. And for him, he said, you know what? I think the rates are going to come down too. I agree with you. I'm going to put it in the 3.90 for a year because if I do 4.44, you might have short-term rates that are 3 the next month. And, he does the math on it. And for him personally,
Yeah,
he'd
I
rather the
see what you're
3.9
saying. Yeah, well,
yeah. So it all depends. But if you're going to play the game of short term and you're willing to do short term and then take your chances in 4 months where rates are going to be, there'll be something that's higher, but will it be 4.44 in 4 months? Probably not. So you never know though. This unfortunately this crazy market has been tough for all of us to manage, consumers and financial institutions. So a lot of the projections we saw 5 years ago could not have been further off. And that caused some of the chaos in the financial institution world that you saw out there. So,
I think another reason you might want to talk to a certified financial counselor at Garden Savings is to see, what makes sense for you.
Yeah.
Long term, short term, how much? There's so many questions, and for most of us, money is a personal thing, and we want to hold on to what we have.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, if we're not in the industry as you are, you need someone to talk to, don't you? You really, it's hard to figure this out for yourself.
Yeah, we all need somebody that we can consult with in everything. But you're right, financial matters are a huge thing. But we all need to talk to somebody on things we're not as sure about, right? Like you mentioned, not everybody's in the banking industry, and
No.
so, they're going to need some help sometimes with financial matters. Just like yesterday I was on the phone. I'm trying to hook up my new TV with all my different passwords for all these
Oh
streams.
yeah.
And I'm on the phone saying, wait a minute, why isn't this working with this? So, yeah, there's always something going on, and we all need to talk to experts at fields we're not experts in. And when you can do that at no cost, it's even better.
It's very much better. Very much better. Because look, we all want to hold on to what we have. Everybody works hard for it. Even when you're retired and you're on a fixed income,
Yep.
you want to hold on to what you've got.
And certified
So,
financial planners, again, are not certified financial consultants that we have are not planners. They're just people you can have a
right.
conversation. They do have worksheets and things like that that they can walk you through if you need a detailed budget and things like that. But they are not planners. They're not going to build you out a 30-page plan. It's consultative advice.
But for many people, with a moderate income, I'm thinking, well, that's all you need. You just need
Exactly.
you need a little assistance,
100%.
maybe even just to get you started.
Absolutely.
So the services are there. You just have to know about them and take advantage of them.
Yep.
And we're all about letting people know what is available.
Absolutely. And yeah, letting people know what else is out there. Even little things with us. Like, I mean, we have notary services if you need something notarized, that's all free. We have what else do we offer? We do a lot of things in the communities as well. We're trying to get more involved in community events. And there's always here's a hint for everyone. Whenever you see somebody like a credit union, particularly us, that's tabling at a event, whether it's a scan event or a community event, there's usually special offers for that day. Not all the time, but there's usually great
Oh,
rates you can get for that
good to
day or
know.
days after. So you can usually get a little better deal on certain products when you see a financial institution at a community event.
All right. Mike, thank you so much for being my guest today.
I always appreciate it. It's always great to talk to you and have these nice discussions on financial matters.
Thank you. Thank you. So, everyone, Mike Powers from Garden Savings Federal Credit Union, now in Ocean County. And I'll put all the contact info in the show notes so you'll be able to reach out. And I like this idea of someone that you can talk to at no charge in the bank. I think it's a great idea to take advantage of it. So, I encourage everyone to do so. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me again.
All right, remember out there, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr. We'll see you next time on Scan FYI. Bye, everyone, and bye, Mike.
Bye.